messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have two ears and one mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Go with the forward march. Found it?
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
I saw my land in the morning, and oh, but she was fair. The hills flamed upwards, scorning death and failure here. I saw through the mists of the morning a wave like a sea set free, faith to the dawn returning, dark tide, bright unity. I saw my friends in the morning, they called from an equal gate, build now whilst time is burning, forward before it's late. The old gods awake, past and future break, on as the voices roll, move as a single whole, forward, 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 O country, to your goal.
Gather together, be brothers and sisters, we're independent. Join hands to hands, children started to dance, we're independent. Don't be silent, the Lord is still with you. Because your time has come when you can have your fun, so keep alive. Brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to Alexander. Brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to Mr. Monday. Don't be silent, the Lord is still with you. Because the time has come when you can have your fun, so keep alive. We're independent, brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to Alexander. Brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to Monday. Don't be sorry, the Lord is still with you. Because the time has come when you can have your fun, so keep alive. Because the time has come when you can have your fun.
2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 13th day of the 7th month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Put another way, it's the 13th day of the 2nd month of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, and the National Meteorological Service here in Jamaica is advising us that the Saharan dust, and for those who have been looking, just checking out the atmosphere, you would see that the haze, very hazy conditions, as you try to cite the, let's say, the Blue Mountains, for example, and other mountain ranges, you will notice how hazy the conditions are, and visibility proving to be quite poor in that regard. So pay attention. And the masks are not only for COVID-19, they can provide some kind of a buffer between us and the dust. Yes, between us and the dust. So the Saharan dust is all around us. And there's also a low-level jet stream across the central Caribbean. In fact, both the Saharan dust and the low-level jet stream are expected to remain across the region through to Thursday. That's tomorrow. Thereafter, a trough is expected to move into the vicinity of the island. The rest of this afternoon, partly cloudy and hazy. You've been hearing that word a lot. Yes, that's what happens when the Saharan dust is around. Windy, especially across sections of southern parishes. Tonight, mainly fair and hazy. There we go again, Hazy. Windy along the south coast as well. Elsewhere in the region, there's an area of low pressure across Panama and a tropical wave across the southwestern Caribbean. So that's the information from our weather service right here in Jamaica. Let's continue with the rest of the introductory notes, so that in the United States, July is still being observed as Cord Blood Awareness Month, Healthy Vision Month, International Group B Strep Throat Awareness Month, Juvenile Arthritis Awareness Month, National Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness and Prevention Month, Sarcoma Awareness Month, and UV Safety Awareness Month. And let's not forget that we are also saluting our healthcare workers. Please join us in saluting our healthcare workers as they continue to serve us and to serve us well. We salute our healthcare workers. In fact, I think today itself is dedicated to healthcare workers. Today is Healthcare Workers Day. The Festival of Souls is being celebrated in Japan, and the people of Montenegro are observing Statehood Day. Hoy es miércoles el 13 de julio 2022. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
Join hands to hands, children started to dance. We're independent.
C'est mercredi le 13 juillet 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de ça parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
Walk into Marjan's Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Marjan's Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335. The time by Marjan's Pharmacy is 2:15.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
The Lord is still with you.
If you missed all of what we had to say a short while ago, well, here's exactly what we said. It is Wednesday, the 13th of July, 2022, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Brothers and sisters, get joy and praise the Monday. Good peace celebrate. The Lord is still with you. The time has come when you can have your fun with your life.
We started out this afternoon with Jamaica, poem entitled Jamaica, for the second afternoon in a row, a poem entitled Jamaica by M.G. Smith. And we paired that with Derek Morgan's Forward March. We're essentially sharing with you the early festival songs, the festival songs from 62, essentially. Those are the recordings we've been playing since yesterday. And we'll see how else we go about marking this milestone of Jamaica 60. We can always debate. We can always, and debates will always rage on about whether we are independent, how much have we achieved, etc., etc. That's pretty normal in any democratic society. But by now, at 60, one would expect a greater level of maturity by, well, the country itself uh, is a function of those who reside therein. But it really is about engendering a level of consciousness so that even as we celebrate, we pause to do some introspection as a people and as a country. Where are we now in our development? Where are we now in our evolution? Well, those debates will rage, and will range from one spectrum to another as well. Good afternoon. Very much for joining us. Hello to those of you listening 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 107, and 106.9 from Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free. Listening is free whenever, wherever. We thank those of you who have downloaded the Power 106 FM app, as we said, which allows you to listen whenever, wherever. We also want to thank those of you who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330 606 0953. 0330 606 0953. We're looking forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. Then in the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat. There's always YouTube. All you need is a smart device or a not so smart device, a smartphone, tablet, computer, laptop, desktop, otherwise known as a PC. Any one of those, then make sure you have internet connection, but more importantly, that there is indeed connectivity in those lines. And one way to test is by opening a browser like Google Chrome, for example, and that should give you an idea as to the level of connectivity you're enjoying. And then just start typing YouTube, and before you can finish, the box will populate, and you should be, if you're doing that now, you should see this video trending. If not, then in the YouTube search box, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to watch both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. How about that? So we're looking forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story. anything at all that's on your mind, whatever topic that is concentrating your mind, whatever issue, whatever the subject matter, whether you have concerns that you'd like to express, maybe you have a suggestion you'd like to share with us, maybe you are keen on giving us your critique of some individual organization or institution here in Jamaica. And so maybe you have general criticisms that you would like to share as well. It is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. The numbers to call, 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Ready to go. Let's clear some messages and stand by for the ones that are coming in as we speak. Good afternoon to Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Peter Barkley says, hello, Mr. Dervan and everyone listening or watching the program. Welcome, Peter Barkley. Hubert Fowlin is also online. And Hubert says, a very pleasant day to Mr. Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners. To you too and yours, Hubert Fowlin. Good to have you on board. Nicholas, somewhere in central Jamaica, says, muy buenas tardes, Nicola. Sharon Richards in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland says, blessed Wednesday to you, Sir Malcolm, and all listeners out there. I greet you well. It's been a pleasure being in class today. Another hot day. Let's give thanks even in the heat. So it is. So it is. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas, good afternoon to you too. Angela Forrest, good afternoon. Inez Ayona Campbell, pleasant afternoon to you too. Thank you very much. Keep those messages coming in. And let's see, Cherry Henry, good afternoon. Sean Chambers, good afternoon to you too. Paul Miles of the eponymous Paul Miles Foundation, good day to you too. Good to have you on board. Let's take a look at WhatsApp and seeing what's up. Let's see what's up on WhatsApp. Let's go here. What do we have here? Barbara Babzero. I think this message was for Mr. Crosskill. Let's see. Good afternoon, Mr. Crosskill. British Airways has a customer service counter at NMIA. That's Norman Manley International Airport. They're usually helpful. So that's if Barbara is still listening. And lots of graduation pictures. People are regaling us with the graduation pictures of their loved ones and their children in particular. So there we go. Congratulations. Congratulations. Good afternoon to Sonia Morris and her team of volunteers at the Heart and Soul Cancer Foundation of Jamaica. They've been doing a lot of work in Jamaica, and looks like they have a fundraiser coming up on Saturday, the 1st of October at Glistening Waters. Well, the venue alone is inviting for those of us who have ever been to Glistening Waters. It's quite a spectacle, but not of the, well, you'll have to experience it for yourself. How about that? All the best in your fundraiser, Sonia Morris. Thank you for sharing the information. Thank you very much. Take care. Bishop Douglas Gooden, hope you are good wherever you are. Good afternoon to you. And hello as well to Gloria, otherwise known as Moralist. All right. So that message was meant for Althea. We'll have to forward that to Althea McKenzie. Let's go down the line. And we can tell you what it is. It's we've seen pictures of how fertile the soil where Miss Gloria is living. That soil seems to be quite conducive to significant crop production. Well done. Well done, moralist. Thank you very much for your message. And we'll continue to go through the others. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. And we're getting closer and closer to the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. Now, bear in mind that Eugene, Oregon is 2 hours behind us here in Jamaica. So when you check out the times for the events at the World Championships, bear in mind Eugene, Oregon is on Pacific time. That's 2 hours behind us. Make a note of that and factor that into your viewership. Although those who are publishing the schedules for the schedule for world championships would normally put the times in our case it would be Eastern Standard Time as opposed to Eastern Daytime. Eastern Daytime would be what obtains now in Florida, for example. One moment, please.
Brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to the man made.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration, known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Need to check your blood pressure and sugar levels and have your prescriptions filled? Come to Lanell Town Pharmacy and have it done. We accept all major health insurance. Open 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. Sundays and public holidays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Lanell Town Pharmacy, Shop 1, Bustamante Avenue, Lanell Town, Clarendon. Call 876-986-3304. Lanell Town Pharmacy, helping you to get well and stay well.
Don't be silent. The Lord is still with you. For the time has come when you can have your fun, so keep alive. For the time has come when you can have your fun, so keep alive.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon to those of you who are just joining us. How are things with you and yours? Jennifer says, that's Jennifer Stewart from Q Road in Kencott, East Central St. Andrew. Good afternoon to you. She says, Dervan, may I bun up? Oh, yes, it's really hot. It is really hot. This is summer for real. A true Jamaican summer. True Jamaican summer. Maybe they should have a change in the, well, maybe, no, let me not go there because Some of us are already walking around as if we're everywhere is on the beach. So let's not go there. But back in the day, I read that somewhere in the archives that there was a plan. I'm not sure the extent to which it was put in place, but in terms of dictating what Jamaicans should wear to work. I'm trying to remember what that dress code was like, but the idea was to dress in a way that is in step with or accordance with our climate, especially at summertime. I believe that particular was for uh, was for summertime. If I come across it again, I'll share it with you. Donovan McFarlane says, "Good afternoon, everyone. Trying to keep cool in Black River. Oh. Well, it could have been worse. It could have been Santa Cruz, which is said to be the hottest place in Jamaica. Santa Cruz, of course, Santa Cruz is Spanish for Holy Cross. Holy Cross. So some people would have figured that out a long time ago. Yeah, Santa Cruz means Holy Cross. Hottest place in Jamaica. Asha Ash says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Just tuning in from London, England." You're just in time, Asha Ash. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to have you on board here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Patrick, otherwise known as Jamaica Love. Good afternoon to you. We see you. Thank you very much for checking in, and all the very best. Speaking of checking in, let's give you an update on how things have been going here in Jamaica. According to the Gleaner's website, jamaica-gleaner.com. In case you have been a little too busy to pay attention to the news, let's see if we can give you an update. Here we go. Government developed national strategy against organized crime. The government is developing a national strategy to combat organized crime. The strategy will target key crime producers and create an environment for sustained crime reduction and increased economic growth and prosperity in keeping with Plan Secure Jamaica. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, said that organized crime is a major setback for national development and a hindrance to inclusive economic growth. He reiterated the government's commitment to disrupting, deterring, detecting, and prosecuting criminal elements involved in both domestic and transnational organized crime. And it goes on and on and on. So here's the thing, Minister of National Security. The Nike slogan is just do it. Just do it. Just do it. We've been hearing about it for a long time. Just do it. Just do it. And then you won't even have to say it when you have done it, because we would feel it and know that it is happening. Anyway, I guess he can argue that he's keeping the lines of communication open. Let's go to another of the stories doing the rounds right now. Church umbrella group calls for prayers to stand up against crime. Here we go again. A call is being made for churches to host special days of prayer as part of an effort to stand against present levels of crime and violence. The Jamaica umbrella groups of churches say the current situation, particularly murders, is unacceptable to the church and all law-abiding citizens. The organization says it stands firmly against all forms of crime and violence and has resolved to provide solutions that will help to transform communities into safe spaces of peace, harmony, and unity. And to the church, we say likewise, just do it. Let's do it. Let us do it. Just do it. And we will all feel the effects. There is a rather bizarre story. Sorry to hear of it. Search on for Kingston Wharves worker who fell overboard Kingston Wharves Limited is reporting that a search is on for an employee who fell overboard while performing stevedoring operations. When we come across the hardly ever used words like stevedoring, we have to share that with our listeners. So, a stevedore is a person employed at a dock to load and unload ships. A stevedore, that's spelled like Steve for the first part of the word, the first Steve, 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 and then Dore. So that's a person employed to load and unload ships. And it comes from estivador, from estivar, stow a cargo. So that's what the word means, and it's a noun, but it's being used here. I maybe have to check my Oxford when I get home, but the Oxford on my mobile device doesn't make any provisions for the use of the word as a verb. We'll have to inquire into that one going forward. But this sad story here up to now is that Kingston Wharves Limited is reporting that a search is on for an employee who fell overboard while performing his duties aboard a vessel. The company says the incident happened about 10:05 p.m. and that rescue protocols were immediately activated. Further, it says the Coast Guard and Marine were contacted to provide search and rescue operations, along with private personnel engaged by the company. Kingston Wharves says efforts continued this morning, adding that updates will be provided as they become available. Oh, sorry to hear of that situation. Let's see what happens. And some stories now with respect to the upcoming World Championships. The Gleaner is calling it Oregon Gold Rush. Gregory Prince beats visa clock, set to arrive in Eugene tomorrow. Gregory Prince is scheduled to arrive in Eugene tomorrow morning for the 2022 World Athletic Championships after securing his United States visa recently. Prince had faced a race against time to get the necessary documentation to participate in his first senior team. Prince made his way onto his first senior team after finishing third in the 400 meters in a personal best, 45.70 seconds at the National Senior and Junior Championships back in June. So, of course, there are people who are going to make sure the big screen TV is working because, and something for all the spouses, you might want to ensure that everything that you want your husband or your boyfriend, your spouse to do, that those get done before Friday, because one expects that there's going to be, and not just on both fronts, because all of us enjoy track and field. So stand by for that. So get everything that needs to be done, get those done before, because you don't want to miss the World Championships. Let's see. Here's another story, just so you know what's been happening, which is not good. Gunmen this morning attacked a taxi along Hillary Avenue off Red Hills Road in St. Andrew, shooting 4 people, 2 of them fatally. A woman and a child are now in hospital. The deceased are yet to be identified. The dead are a male taxi driver and a man who was in the front passenger seat. It is reported that the taxi was traveling along the roadway when it came under heavy gunfire about 8:30. The police were called to the scene and the area was cordoned off and traffic diverted. Oh, what a tragedy. Condolences to the family, friends, colleagues, neighbors of the deceased. What a tragedy. And another story of the body of a woman being found in Manchester with hands and feet bound in Greenvale, Manchester. The body has in fact been identified as that of 45-year-old Paula Saunders of a Greenvale address. No motive has been established. No suspect identified. Again, condolences to the family of the deceased. Those of us who have information, please share to the tried, tested, and proven sources. There's more after the break.
We're independent, yeah, 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 yeah. Brothers and sisters, in joy and faith, Alexander.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. National Irrigation Commission customers, you can now pay your bills online using your Visa credit card, MasterCard, or NCB key card by visiting the website www.nicjamaica.com. Select Pay Your Bill option, then follow the instructions, or visit any one of their office locations and pay using debit card. The National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture. The Ministry of Local Government and Community Development will host its public town hall meeting focusing on the major achievements of the ministry and its affiliated agencies this Thursday, July 14. Join Power 106 FM from the White House Community Center in Westmoreland, Thursday, July 14, 6 to 8 p.m. for a live feed from the event. This broadcast is brought to you by the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management and the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. That's a broadcast from the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development's public town hall meeting this Thursday, July 14, 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
Our children are the rocks on which our future will be built. The future leaders of our country who will protect our people. Here's a Jubilee salute to Jamaica's children with 60 great essays by our top students in the Gleaner's Best in Class book. Available for purchase at the Gleaner Library, 7 North Street, the RJ Gleaner Gift Shop, 32 Lyndhurst Road, and the Gleaner's Western Bureau offices at 23 Orange Street, Montego Bay. The Gleaner, where life unfolds.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaner's website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us via WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Now, as we mark 60 years of independence, we have some historical nuggets that we'll continue to share with you. So take, for example, 1948. Let's look at 19, or shall we? Yes, 1948. Self-government should not be given to British West Indies without due consideration of the results, says Labour member James Harrison in the House of Commons. He says self-government might be a way of avoiding some of our responsibilities, but the people out there do not want independence until some means have been set up by which they can run their own economy. So this was a Labour member in the House of Commons in the United Kingdom, James Harrison, giving us his perspective on self-government. At the time, this was 1940, he said self-government should not be given without due consideration of the results. He says self-government might be a way of avoiding some of our responsibilities, but the people out there do not want independence until some means have been set up by which they can run their own economy. Still in 1948, that Jamaica was not ready for immediate dominion status was the view expressed by William Alexander Bustamante in a press interview on this day in 1948. Here are the words of Sir Alexander Bustamante. If we were given dominion status, it would mean we would elect our own prime minister. And there is no doubt who would be elected. I'm not looking for a job at £5,000 a year. I have plenty of money now, thank goodness. I made a packet on Wall Street. Words of Sir Alexander Bustamante in 1948, clearly hinting, without saying it, that he should be that prime minister of Jamaica. And he did become the Jamaica's first prime minister. So he spoke it into being. Let's see. Also, this is now 5 years after that, 1953 now, the Honorable Alexander Bustamante demanded self-government within his own lifetime. Here are the words of Sir Alexander. He said, I am not against the British, but this country must have its own flag, and I mean it to have self-government, he says. He continues, we can govern our country better than they can. Why haven't they given us self-government? Because we have Negro blood and because our mentality is lower than theirs? No. Words of Sir Alexander Bustamante, talking and working his way up to becoming Jamaica's first, independent Jamaica's first. That was 1953. All right, so let's come now to 1956. And can you imagine this? Because as it is now, we consume, I used to know this figure off the top of my head, we consume somewhere in the region of about, is it 100,000 tons a year in terms of rice? We consume in Jamaica about 100,000 tons of rice a year. That's what I'm recalling right now. I read that some time ago. Well, in 1956, the Gleaner reported on this day in 1956 that consumption of rice in Jamaica was the lowest in the British Caribbean. Consumption, did you hear that? The Gleaner reported on this day in 1956 that consumption of rice in Jamaica was the lowest in the British Caribbean. Do you realize where we're coming from? There was a time when we used to eat some serious banana, yam, dasheen, you get the picture. And just a little rice, just a little rice. That was 1956, to the point where Jamaica had the lowest consumption of rice in the British Caribbean. That was 1956. So we strayed. We went astray, didn't we? We have strayed. Jamaica's annual rate of 29 pounds per head of population per year was 1/6 of what it was in British Guiana, 1/5 of Trinidad's, and about 1/3 of the average of the whole territory. During the war, rice almost disappeared, and rice and peas became a choice luxury available only on Sundays for those who were privileged to get it. Now, these days, we have rice and peas for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Jamaica. Rice and peas every day, except Saturday. Saturday is soup day in Jamaica. But rice and peas, rice and peas, rice and peas. So here is a bit of that history, that during the war, rice almost disappeared, and rice and peas became a choice luxury available only on Sundays for those who were privileged. Did you hear that word? Those who were privileged to get it. As late as 1952, Jamaica 1,000 tons of rice per annum, an average of £1 per head. In 1952, the British government forecast there would be a rice shortage for many years to come. And in August 1952, they sent out to the Jamaica government the strongest possible recommendations and instructions, backed by the most vivid and acute powers of clairvoyance, and urged that the West Indies should plant rice. Having got those instructions in 1952, the Agricultural Development Corporation, ADC, was entrusted with a particular task of seeking to build up the rice industry in Jamaica and aiming so far as possible to make Jamaica self-sufficient in rice. Did you hear that? The plan was to make Jamaica self-sufficient in rice. In 1952, the island produced 4,600 tons of rice. Yes, Jamaica produced 4,600 tons of rice in 1952 and imported 13,000 tons. By 1955, production nearly trebled, largely due to the work of the Agricultural Development Corporation, ADC, and Jamaica was producing more than 12,000 tons of rice and importing 15,500 tons. The imports being based on a contract with the government of British Guiana, and we still take rice from Guyana, don't we? This contract was scheduled to expire in 1957. It was estimated that Mr. Manley said, that Jamaica might produce 15,000 tons, and it was possible that imports might drop to 9,000 or 10,000 tons. Mr. Manley, and this is Norman Manley, said that whilst he felt that Jamaica should limit her production to a level where we could achieve a high degree of economic efficiency, Jamaica was committed to that program, rightly committed by the last government and supported by the present government, and both sides of the House would agree to any measure which tended to enable a higher level of efficiency to be attained. He believed that one of the problems in Jamaica was to encourage a larger consumption of rice instead of the enormous quantity of flour which was imported into the island. Every country in the world consumed predominantly one cereal, but Jamaica had made itself, in the last 30 to 40 years, a flour-consuming country. And again, listeners, we're talking in the 50s here, this information from the Gleaner. I firmly believe, said Mr. Manley, that that's N.W. Manley, that one of the major things we should tackle in Jamaica is to try and inculcate a larger use of rice against flour, for I believe in the long run it will help to stabilize our rice industry and stave off the growing and threatening difficulties that production in other parts of the Caribbean may create, Mr. Manley said. Dealing with what the industry now meant to Jamaica, the chief minister, and that's it, he was never prime minister, he was chief minister and also premier. N.W. Manley said, dealing with what the industry now meant to Jamaica, he said the Industrial Development Corporation had invested more than £1 million in the rice industry, and a modest and reasonable estimate is that the industry now maintained in planters and workers over 6,000 people in employment. Wages of the workers who exceed 2,000 in number amounted to more than £300,000, and with production far lower than they could have to survive with a low production of not more than 2,000 pounds of paddy per acre, giving 60 pounds of rice to the 100 pounds of paddy. The average estimated profit per acre was a little over 20 pounds. If they could master the production problems, the problems of using the right strains of seeds, the problems of nurseries and fertilizers, there was no reason why they should not produce 3,000 pounds of paddy per acre, grading out about 2,000 pounds of rice, which would net about 30 pounds per acre. So we were relatively big on rice, in a manner of speaking, rice production in Jamaica back in the 50s. One moment, please.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high-quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3 o'clock. This is Crime Stop. How may I help?
You know them boys some illegal gun, but me know what them know say I'm talk.
Don't worry, sir. Crime Stop is privately funded and run by the PSOJ. Everything reported here is anonymous. It's just like you're invisible.
What about the reward?
We provide cash rewards for information that leads to an arrest or recovery. We'll stash the cash wherever you like, so nobody will ever find out.
All right, me tell you.
Make the call. Crime Stop 311. Solving crime pays.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Patriotic Jamaican in New York says, Mr. Malcolm, I think the time has come for the government to create a ministry of announcements. This seems to be their main function, making announcements. I join you in saying just do it. The announcements are getting rather tired. If they had done a quarter of what they have announced, Jamaica would be a much, much better place. A little less talk and a little more action, please, says Patriotic Jamaican in New York. Crocs in Black River says, greetings. I have just read where the government is announcing that they're developing strategies to deal with organized crime. That's something to be welcomed and applauded, but organized crime comes in various forms. Organized corruption within an organization, such as a government, a company, or even a church, with someone acting as the mastermind and coordinating the operations, is also organized crime and should be treated as such. From Crocs in Black River. Thank you very much, Crocs in Black River, for your message. Geneva says, teacher, blessings, Water Commission is my greatest problem. For 4 years, they kept adding and not taking off what I have paid on the bill. The sub-office can't do a thing to solve my situation. I need help to end this nightmare, thanks, says Geneva. Geneva, let's send your message over to Andrew Cannon of the National Water Commission, NWC. Let's see if we can do that now. Stand by, Andrew Cannon. We are sending a message your way. Message from Geneva, who is having problems with the National Water Commission. So forwarding this information right now. Forward. And let's send this information to Andrew Cannon's numbers. And there are 2 of them. So we just did. And we also need to send Geneva's number to Andrew Cannon so that he can call her and inquire into that matter further. And we're doing that right now. And so now Andrew Cannon should have the contact information and the concern, the query as well. Sorry to hear about that situation, Geneva. We hope you get a call from Andrew Cannon because we have shared your information with him. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Here's a bit more for you since track and field is in the air. Listen to this, 1962, 60 years ago, 1962, on this day in 1962, Dennis Johnson, one of the Jamaican athletes based in the USA and brought home by the J3As to compete in the national championships for possible selection in the Jamaican team to the 9th Commonwealth Games, created a sensation at Sabina Park when he refused to run the 100-meter race unless he was allowed to run in one of the middle lanes, as he was the then champion, the reigning champion. Dennis Johnson drew lane 1. In due course, he was persuaded to run, and he won easily out of lane 1. However, he was disqualified because he did not wear his number on his jersey. What a thing. Let's go to 1965. Louise Bennett Coverley, Ivy Baxter, and Lisa Salmon were awarded gold Musgrave medals by the Board of Directors of the Institute of Jamaica. Louise Bennett Coverley received hers for her work in dialect and folklore, Ivy Baxter for creative dancing, and Lisa Salmon for work in the protection of wildlife. And bronze Musgrave medals were awarded to artists David Miller and Carl Abrams, sculptor Alvin Marriott, and playwright Samuel Hillary. 1974, Yvonne White, holder of the Jamaica national record of 2 minutes, 0.08 seconds in the 800 meters. She set a new time of 2 minutes, 0.07 seconds at the first ever Jamaica Amateur Athletics Association Senior Championships held at the National Stadium, Helen Blake of the Central Branch Primary School placed second. Let's come to 1975. Prime Minister Michael Manley told a crowd of PNP supporters in Montego Bay on his return from a 5-day official visit to Cuba that those who were motivated only by selfish desire to become a millionaire overnight and refused to regard themselves as part of the Jamaican society should note there are 5 flights a day to Miami where there is a different kind of society in which they might feel more comfortable. And this, over the years, and it remains a controversial declaration by Prime Minister Manley to this day. 1977, a 25-hour blackout hit New York City, endangering widespread, I beg your pardon, engendering widespread rioting and looting. I think we're going to take a break. Let's take a break and come back with some more. There's a lot of history. Who is this now? Oh, we have a voice note here which we haven't had a chance to listen to off air. And so bear with us, please. We'll try to give a listen to it during the next break to determine whether we can play it on air. In the meantime, let's continue with more of your input, and we're still encouraging your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5. 876 922 4112 to 5. Text line same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. And there's another, hold on, let's see this. Another developing story. Sri Lanka PM tells military to restore order. What a thing. Sri Lanka's Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has told the military to do whatever is necessary. That sounds dangerous, right? To do whatever is necessary to restore order after protesters stormed his office today. Mr. Wickremesinghe has been appointed acting president by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who has fled the country. But the decision to leave him in charge triggered further protests demanding that the prime minister must also go. Sri Lanka has been suffering from the worst economic crisis in decades. Many blame the Rajapaksa administration for the crisis and see Mr. Wickremesinghe, who became prime minister in May, as part of the problem. Today, for the second time in less than a week, protesters broke into a highly secure state building. This time, it was the Prime Minister's office. Echoing earlier scenes over the weekend of the occupied president's official residence, people in the Prime Minister's office lounged on plush sofas, snapping photos, while others stood on chairs and desks, waving the Sri Lankan flag. Let us all take note of these things. What did Boris Johnson say? Boris Johnson said a few days ago And you know what they say, if shark come from, or his fish come from river bottom, and tell you shark down there. Boris Johnson says, as we have seen at Westminster, the herd instinct is powerful. And when the herd moves, it moves. And my friends, in politics, no one is remotely indispensable. In politics, no one is remotely indispensable. And Boris Johnson should know. Right. Let's move on. Did we just miss it? Sorry, we missed a call. Someone was trying to get through. Sorry about that. Please feel free to try again. Yeah, this is the situation. Man was made to survive and to thrive as well. And so what does that mean? It means whether it's good times or bad times, man is going to find a way. Whether legally or illegally, man is going to find a way. And so remember, one of the things we've also said over the years when it comes on to competing political parties is that whoever wins a general election in this country will have to make do with the same resources, essentially, the same resources. So you don't get new furniture, in a manner of speaking. Follow me. You don't have a situation where you now have more resources once you're in office. That doesn't happen. You will have to make do with the same resources. So we have always said that what it boils down to in situations when we have competing political parties, it boils down to management. So both sides will put themselves forward to say, we are better able to manage the affairs of our country. So they tell us in the population that they are the best. They have the best team to manage the country. Let's come back to that point after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
16 minutes past 3 o'clock.
Make we talk tax during both sides of the stories, brought to you by Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Oh,
Correct.
Ooh, I'm bright. Okay.
Correct. You're on the ball.
Welcome to Make We Talk Tax question and answer segment. Today we seek answers to frequently asked questions about estate at the Stamp Duty and Transfer Tax Office. Our guest today is Benjamin Cook, Taxpayer Service Officer. Benjamin, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Leslie.
Let us talk estate, or as some people would call it, dead left. What is an estate?
Simply put, Leslie, an estate is any asset that the deceased died leaving.
What if I need to remove someone from a title?
Well, if you need to remove someone from a title, Leslie, there are around 7 documents that you may need.
7?
Yes, and I will list them.
All right.
First, you will need a completed revenue affidavit, also known as an RA, which must be witnessed by the JP or notary public.
Okay, so where do I get the affidavit
Well,
from?
this affidavit document can be downloaded from the Tax Administration Jamaica website,
Okay.
or you can just walk into our stamp office and the documents are available for your collection.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Also, you will need a debt certificate which will show proof of debt. You will also need a copy of a title or the property tax receipt, which is proof of ownership.
Okay.
And if there are shares involved, you would need a share certificate or a share letter from a holding company.
Oh.
If, however, though, Leslie, the shares are held in a private company,
Right.
then you need a financial statement closest to the date of death and the company's annual return.
Oh.
If you are eligible to apply for principal place of residence, then you will submit what is known as a statutory declaration or a voluntary declaration.
Okay.
The final document that you would need to complete this process is what is known as an application to note death, and this document can be located on the National Land Agency website. And all that the surviving owner would need to do is submit their TRN, and the matter can be processed.
Okay. So what about sole ownership?
And while we're dealing with sole ownership, the first thing that we have to look at is whether the person died leaving a will or the person died without.
Okay.
So similarly to the documents that I just outlined, there are some additional documents that you may need. You will need to submit a transmission and transfer, and all, as well, if it is that the deceased died leaving a will, you would need to submit a copy of the probate and will. If the person, however, did not leave a will, then you'll submit what is called an oath of administrator or letters of administration, and some persons call it grant of administration.
Oh, so the process cannot be completed unless persons submit all the necessary documentation.
Correct, and this will prevent delays as well if it is that all of the correct documents are submitted, duly executed.
Okay. So I know there must be fees involved.
Is Abigail
so tell me,
here?
Benjamin, what are the fees associated with
Is she coming in
processing
tomorrow?
an
Do you know?
estate?
Well, fortunately for taxpayer, there is a
Tomorrow?
10 million
Okay.
threshold
Wow.
that persons are allowed to get.
10 million as in $10 million, right?
$10 million. So
Okay.
10 million or below, you pay no money.
Okay.
However, anything above that $10 million, you pay 1.5% on the date of death value.
All right. So let me see if I understand what you're saying to me now. So there's a threshold of $10 million. If it's 10 million or below, no fees.
No fees.
But let's say the property is 15 million because the threshold is 10 million. So the 1.5% is on the 5,
which is above the 10 million.
Oh,
Correct.
Ooh, I'm bright. Okay.
Correct. You're on the ball.
So tell me, Benjamin, what exemption, if any, can I get when processing an estate?
Well, there are three main exemptions.
Okay.
First one is a principal place of residence, and the second one is a life interest where there is a life tenancy, and the third is where there is a trust where deceased is a trustee.
Okay, so who can apply for the principal place of
Where
residence?
the list is not necessarily exhaustive, but persons who can apply for what is called principal place of residence, which is affectionately called PPR, is a mother, stepmother, father, stepfather, son, stepson, daughter, stepfather, sister, brother, grandfather, grandmother, grandson, granddaughter. Any of those persons are eligible and can apply. But it must be clear that you must be living with the deceased prior to and up to the time of death.
Oh, okay. So how is property distributed where there is and where there is no will?
Well, if there isn't a will, then we would have to look to the Interstate Estate and Property Charges Act, which provides us with a table of distribution that indicates how property is to be distributed. If there is a will, then we will use the will of the deceased, which is the testamentary wishes. So the property will be distributed based on the contents of the will.
Oh, I'm loving this Benjamin, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have. So we continue next time with additional questions. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to Make We Talk Tax. For further queries, contact our customer care center at 888-TAX-HELP. That is 888-829-437, or visit our website at www.jamaicatax.gov.jm. Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business by working together to serve you even better.
Make We Talk Tax during both sides of the story was brought to you by Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Track and field fans, get ready, set, go! Tune in to Power Play Monday to Friday, July 15 to 24, 7:30 p.m. as track and field analyst Olive McNaughton gives us the daily roundup and best moments from the World Athletics Championships in Oregon 2022. Coverage of the World Athletics Championships in Oregon will be brought to you by LS Johannian Company Limited, the Electrical People, and KFC. It's finger licking good.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon to Paul Miles of the eponymous Paul Miles Foundation. He says the foundation has started to deploy 110 plus Chromebooks, laptops to Petersville Primary School in Westmoreland. Petersville Primary School will be one of the first rural primary schools where each student in every class has 100% capability and option to be on a digital electronic platform with access to interactive learning tools. I must commend hardworking Principal Janice Bowes Wellington for leading this project in a very effective manner with hands-on approach and continue to be proactive. We join you in congratulating Principal Janice Bowes Wellington and all the other members of the school family at Petersville Primary School in Westmoreland. All things being well, that's where we're heading tomorrow, Westmoreland. Paul Miles says projectors and printers are also to be deployed to Petersville Primary School. More power to Petersville Primary School. Sophia Nemard in Newell, St. Elizabeth, good afternoon to you. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. To you too, Faye Weller. Always good to have you on board. Donovan Campbell, good day to you too. Natalie Winter says, look like some of us need to take one of the 5 flights a day. Good afternoon, Dee. Pleasant viewing from home in Washington Gardens, Kingston 20. Here's another of the messages from Ellerid. Ellerid says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Why is the church against abortion when the Bible said you should, something is missing here, you should something a woman who is known to lie with man, and if she is a virgin, keep for your own. Numbers 31, verse 17. Judges 21, each man go out and catch a woman. Really? That sounds like, you think it's foul you're catching? Catch a woman and make her your wife. The Bible uses the word catch. Support, make her your wife. The Bible supports killing and kidnap. Where? Psalm 137, happy is the man that bash the baby against the stone. The church only read what the Bible said, do not kill. And so you're saying that, all of that to say that you don't have a problem with abortion. It seems like that's what you're saying. Well, you're entitled to your opinion and taking your own position. You're entitled to that. David Crossburn says, hello, Dervan. Greetings to you and your global listeners. May the joy of the Lord be our strength. Your insightful presentation on Hal's Hall during your visit to Rocky Point was timely. According to the Daily Gleaner series of articles by H.G. Upton, published in 1926 and 27, that location remains an iconic and seminal gem. Sir Hans Sloane lived and worked at the Hal's Hall Sugar Estate and Hospital for 15 months. He collected 600 plant species. Yes, we have shared this before. He was the one who who came up with the idea of putting milk in chocolate or mixing milk with chocolate. We take it for granted now, but somebody actually started that. It was Sir Hans Sloane, Hanssloane. He collected 600 plant species that formed the British Museum. He also used milk in chocolate, which was the first time in the world. Continue your awesome work, David. And that's from David Crossburn. Thank you very much. Happy you find the information useful. Del Mignot says, good day, Mr. Dervan. In my opinion, every government tried to do their best. But as you say, it all comes down to management. The garbage problem we're having, why the government don't hire private trucks. Well, they'll tell you that's what they've been doing. They'll tell you that's exactly what they've been doing, but they apparently can't find enough trucks, it seems, because, well, how should we read that? Not many of us are involved in the business of waste management. Some people are just engaged in garbage collection. You get the point. Right. Thank you for your message. Good afternoon to Paulette Saunders, who is listening. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for tuning in, and all the very best to you. Casita Johnson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. That's my parish, in reference to Westmoreland, I believe. She says, good afternoon, always welcome. Good. Let's go to the text line, which is the same as the WhatsApp number, and take a call from Richie Niebar in Massachusetts. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How are you doing today?
I am giving thanks for life, and you?
I'm giving thanks, appreciating God, and try to give back a little of what I make, because it make a difference. It make a difference for everyone, and it make a difference for a life on a whole. I wish the world would really look into giving back. And you don't have to be a millionaire to give back, but if you give back, the little you give back, it will add up, and it will make a difference in a lot of people's life, especially in the school system, when they're always needing different stuff, needing a little love and a little tender care and a little ideas that will, encourage them as their days go along in school.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the people in the world would just consider to give back a little, and you don't have to give a lot. I mean, I know they said I go overboard all the time, but hey, when I die, I won't have any use for it. It will not go in my coffin. And I already say that I don't want an expensive coffin. Maybe when I get older, I'll make one from the scrap of wood that I use. Because to me, it's going in the ground and it won't have any use after that. But it is good. It is good to really give back. This September, I have a lot planned for the students at the school. I'm really having a day of where the students has to pay for no lunch. They will be all given a free lunch for the whole week. They will not have to come up with a penny.
That's just for 1 week?
What did you say?
That's just for 1 week?
1 week. 1 week.
Yeah, pity it couldn't be for the whole term. Or at least the whole school year.
For the week, it costs close to $200,000.
Yes, that's
to give them lunch.
Okay.
But it will also be a fun, because they will not get the regular food they're getting. I've taken from my kitchen recipe. The first day it will be curried goat, real Jamaican goat, well curried. Actually, it will be done different, in a different way. It will be curried grill and then put into the pot and cooked down. So the 90% of the fat will be burned off, and then it will finish cooked down with a good curry and some good Irish potato into it. That's the first meal on the 12th of September. The first day they go back officially to school.
Is it necessary, though, to be delineating it like this?
What did you say?
I'm just wondering if it's necessary for you to be going through the menu that the youngsters will be having like this. Just one moment, please.
Protecting Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:32 on Power 106.
Gen Zers, we're back! Gen Z returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking finance, dating, dancehall. You think it? We discuss it. You don't want to miss it. So join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Power 106 FM and 6:30 p.m. on TV Day. Gen Z, a show for the youths, by the youths.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's continue with Richie Nebar in, is it Boston, Massachusetts?
Springfield, Massachusetts.
Springfield, Massachusetts. Yeah, so it is quite clear that you're making plans already. That's good. I was just wondering if it was necessary to be spelling out exactly what the children will be getting over the 1 week.
Well, it's one of the day they will be getting that, and on that same day, the first day, they will have a ticket to collect their lunch. You know, we try to keep it organized to make sure everybody gets fed. They will have a number on their ticket, and that ticket will allow them for a raffle. And there will be 6 runners-up into the raffle, so it won't be only a first number 1 person win. It will be 6 persons. So we probably will increase it to 10 persons, so that a lot of people can get a gift. You know, their ticket raffling their ticket at the end of the day. So it is something good to do for the school and for the student to keep them happy. You know, they are the future of tomorrow, and without them, we'll be nowhere. We have to plan for them, and we have to do what we can. You know, because we were once a child, and we grew up, and while growing up, we did not realize that what we were doing until we get to an age, and after we get to that age, and today we're adults, we gotta, think that back then it was easier for us. Today it's not easy for a child to go to school and learn his lesson, because it's rough, especially on islands like Jamaica. It's not easy. And anyway, thank you very much for listening to me this afternoon. I appreciate it, and God bless you.
Thanks for the call. Blessings to you too. Let's continue. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Velta Wilson says, tell that man that since Jesus Christ came, he changed all those laws. He said we should not follow many of those Mosaic laws. because grace and truth came by Christ. And that's in reference to the person who sent us the message in respect of abortion and killing babies, etc. Thank you for your message, Velta Wilson. All the very best. There's a story that came through just a few minutes ago. Let's see. FDA gives emergency use authorization to Novavax's COVID-19 vaccine. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, today authorized Novavax's COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use in adults. It is the fourth coronavirus vaccine available in the United States, and it uses a different type of vaccine technology than the shots already available. Novavax's vaccine will be available as 2 doses for people 18 and older. The FDA's Independent Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee voted in favor of authorization of the vaccine June 7, saying that the benefits of the vaccine outweigh its risks for adults. It is a protein-based vaccine, and such vaccines use harmless protein fragments of the virus to teach the immune system how to spot the virus and fight it off. The vaccine was created out of a genetic sequence of the first strain of the coronavirus. Late-stage trials found that the efficacy of the vaccine against mild, moderate, and severe disease is 90.4%, according to the company. There is not sufficient evidence to evaluate the impact of the vaccine on transmission of the virus. Novavax also announced in early July that its vaccine shows broad immune response to currently circulating variants, including Omicron subvariants BA.4/5. The shots can't be administered until the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's independent vaccine advisors weigh in on whether to recommend the vaccine, and the CDC director has signed off on the recommendation. The CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices is scheduled to meet on July 19. On Monday, the Biden administration announced that it had secured 3.2 million doses of the Novavax vaccine. Let's leave that bit of breaking story there for now. FDA gives emergency use authorization to Novavax's COVID-19 vaccine. Let's go to the phone lines. 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon.
Yeah, man. You hear me?
I am hearing you, Mr. Wilson. How are you?
Not too bad, man. And last Saturday was Barry.
No.
Barry.
That was Richie Niebar from Springfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, it's all like Barry. You know, I don't come near you, Barry. I hope him all right.
I don't even remember what Barry sounds like.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
He used to call Pastor regular.
Oh.
Yeah, man. I want to pick up the reggae girl.
Yes, indeed.
Beach 80, 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
What a good move. I was watching it.
Yeah, we really wish them well. They're real fighters. They don't give up that easily. And even when they're outplayed as they were against the United States, 5-0, they summon up the courage and the inner strength and the determination and the stick-to-itiveness to really give it all they got in the next match. And they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
never use them strength by the United States. Seems like I'm afraid of them.
Well, it could be a factor, a myriad of factors as to why that match went down the way it did. And some would say, look, this is divine providence. It happened exactly how it's supposed to happen. Because if we didn't feel that heavy defeat, perhaps we would not have given that match with Haiti the kind of energy that we did. Yeah.
I have Mr. Malcolm. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. All the best.
Respect my brother.
Respect to you too, Mr. Wilson. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, 876-922-4112-5. The numbers to call, 876-922-4112-5. As a follow-up to the COVID-19 story, CNN is reporting that the most transmissible variant yet has arrived. The most transmissible variant yet has arrived. U.S. officials are working on a plan to allow second COVID-19 boosters for all adults. Let's listen as Dr. Anthony Fauci warns about the new variant. Let's see if we can play that for you. So there's yet another variant, and it seems will be operating at this level for some time to come. It would appear so. The story is taking a while to load. Okay, here we go. Let's cue this. So here's Dr. Fauci speaking with...
What's the most concerning part about this BA.5 subvariant? Well, it has what we call a transmission advantage over prior variants. As you know, we've gone through BA1, BA2, different numbers, BA2.1, 2.1. Now we have BA5, which clearly, because of its ability to evade immune responses, either from the vaccine or from people who have been previously infected, the ability to infect an individual is enhanced over prior variants. And that's the reason why you're seeing us where a reported 140 or so thousand cases a day. It's likely a gross underestimate because so many people get tested with home kits and don't report it. So we're probably seeing a multifold greater number than that 140,000 deaths.
Let's come back to that after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Track and field fans, get ready, set, go! Tune in to Power Play Monday to Friday, July 15 to 24, 7:30 p.m. as track and field analyst Olive McNaughton gives us the daily roundup and best moments from the World Athletics Championships in Oregon 2022. Coverage of the World Athletics Championships in Oregon will be brought to you by LS Bahamian Company Limited, The Electrical Beaker, and KFC. It's finger licking good.
So let's get back to that recording, that clip from an interview that John Berman of CNN did with Anthony Fauci with respect to a new subvariant being on the rise in the United States, but apparently the vaccine still protects. Let's take it from the top. Oh, here we go.
This BA.5 subvariant. Well, it has what we call a transmission advantage over prior variants. As you know, we've gone through BA1, BA2, different numbers, BA2.1, 2.1. Now we have BA5, which clearly, because of its ability to evade immune responses, either from the vaccine or from people who have been previously infected, the ability to infect an individual is enhanced over prior variants. And that's the reason why you're seeing us where a reported 140 or so thousand cases a day. It's likely a gross underestimate because so many people get tested with home kits and don't report it. So we're probably seeing a multifold greater number than that 140,000. Deaths are still around 300, but hospitalizations, John, ticking up. So this is something you don't want to panic about, but we really need to pay attention to it because there are things that we can do to blunt that. I mean, we still don't have as many people vaccinated as we need, only 67% of the population. Only half of those are boosted. We need to be using the mitigations that we have available. Masking where appropriate, vaccinating people who aren't vaccinating, and boosting people who are ready and eligible for their boost. We can do that, but we're not doing it to the extent that we should be doing it.
You says this new variant increases likelihood of reinfection for people who have had it. How quickly can you be reinfected?
Well, it really varies, John. I mean, usually immediately after you've been infected, within a period of weeks to a month or so, you're pretty much protected because of the immune response. Some people, and they're outliers, have been documented to be infected weeks to a month after the initial infection. But most of the time, the protection lasts for a few months. But if somebody was infected several months ago, particularly if they were infected with Omicron, the protection that's given to you against BA.5 wanes and diminishes pretty rapidly over a period of several months.
If you haven't received a shot this year, a booster or your second vaccine dose, if you have not received a shot in 2022, how much has your immunity waned?
Considerably. I mean, the thing that is important to note is that immunity against infection wanes pretty quickly and it goes way, way down. What we've been fortunate is that the immunity against severe disease leading to hospitalization and unfortunately death in some cases tends to hold reasonably well, but it's slipping where it was up to 90, 80, then it goes down to 70, 75, 65, and 50. Then you're really in a situation where you really do need a boost. And we know when you get out 6-7 months or so, we're now in July, we're in the 7th month of the year. Most people who have not received a booster this year have a diminished immunity.
Should people be masking indoors again, given the extra infectious nature of this new variant?
Well, as the CDC makes it very clear, depending upon the density of infection and the dynamics of infection in the place where you live, and you see, if you look at the map, where just a couple of months ago it was a lot of green and some yellow, now we're seeing a fair amount of orange, which means you really should, in an indoor setting, a congregate setting, be wearing masks. It's just the appropriate thing to do to protect yourself and your family and those around you, because you could get infected and inadvertently, without any symptoms, transmit it to someone perhaps in your own household who's vulnerable, either an elderly person or someone with immune compromise. And that's the reason why when you're in an area where the infection dynamic is high, you should wear a mask in a congregate indoor setting.
What's the current timetable, do you think, for approval for Americans under 50 to get their second booster shot?
Well, it's being very seriously and actively considered, John. We were talking about this just literally every day for the last couple of days. Obviously, this is something that is an FDA regulatory decision. Those are the people most qualified to look at the data and to make a decision whether or not they would extend the regulation to be able to give it to people less than 50. But I can tell you this is something that is being actively discussed. I can't predict if and when it will happen, but I believe it's going to be within a very reasonable period of time.
Listening there to Dr. Anthony Fauci. Dr. Fauci is the chief medical advisor on COVID-19 to President Joe Biden. All right, so that's the very latest on that. In the meantime, let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. Good afternoon to Angelia Christian, founder of the Angel Foundation UKJA. She says that the Angel Foundation Afro Caribbean Expo 2022 was a huge success, attended by Mrs. Diane Vidal Briggs, principal of Mount Pleasant Primary School, Integrated Diaspora Services, Nordia Teep, Marcia Jackson of Condor Properties and Moreland Properties, Peter and Dalton. She says, hello, if you're listening, thanks for the rum and finest Appleton rum for raffle, raised £400. Thank you, Moreland Properties. And that's coming from Angel Foundation, UKJA, founded by Angelia Christian. Norman Hines in St. Thomas is still with us. Thank you very much for staying in touch with us, Norman Hines, and all the very best to you. Thank you very much. 876-922-4112-5. Here are some other messages, this time on YouTube. And this looks like Micah Taylor. Micah Taylor says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Within a 6-day period since last week, Thursday, more than 22 homicides. What do you think is causing such a high crime rate? Doesn't look good on Jamaica at all. Well, thanks for your message, Micah, the circumstances notwithstanding. We have a fundamental, there's a high incidence of violence. That's INCIDENCE. There's a high incidence of violence in Jamaica, and that's been the case for a long time. And it is either exacerbated or spurred by different happenings. So at the individual level, you could be looking at more than just the individual, but also a situation of a conflict involving a partner, as in a spouse. It could involve as well, depending on the environment at home, neighbors. It could be a situation brought on by neighbors. It could be a situation brought on by gangsters who are upset with another gang from across the street or a couple blocks down the road, and therefore nobody from up that side can cross this line or that line, etc. It could also be a situation, especially these days, of people getting paid to kill others. People getting paid to kill. It could be that as well. There is also the situation of those involved in gangs having to prove themselves, having to demonstrate that they have what it takes to be a part of that gang and to carry out whatever actions they deem necessary. There are some people who put it down to mental health issues as well, people with mental health issues, and that is manifested in different ways. There are those who point to what some people are smoking whether it be Molly or Dolly or 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 cocaine or marijuana. The people, there are all kinds of suspicions that people have as to why things are the way they are. Also, the the rate, which is why it's important, the rate at which we and the police have shown improvement in this regard, the rate at which suspects are held with evidence, compelling evidence that then leads to a trial, and so on and so forth, and justice takes its course. There's that as well. So it's a combination of factors and elements. There are some people who will argue that, well, if certain people can't find the resources, the money to buy food, etc., then they're going to go look it. And when you decide to go look it, it means, as they say on the street, anything or anything, because you're going to look it. And so there's that element as well. And then there's another school of thought which has stayed with me ever since I heard it coming out of the Wandon trial, that there are people in communities in Jamaica, and we have about 775 communities in Jamaica. There are people in these communities who will just not share information. So there is that too. They will just not, for whatever reason, they'll not share the information. And you have another set. Let's take the break and come back.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Under the law. Know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. Under the law.
Brought to you today by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Whether you're a small farmer, street vendor, big investor, every entrepreneur, got to wise up about your money. You have to make sure say your money secure. When you need to grow, you have access to more.
Financial inclusion means that individuals and businesses have access to useful and affordable financial products and services that meet their needs.
Access to more money, more credit, whatever your business needs. When you work hard for your money must work for you.
Well, you can spare me a minute.
Of course, Mr. Mills.
You're just the man I want. Close the door. I just came off the phone from Golden Wealth Bank. The CEO has advised me that our company has been approved as an agent for the bank.
That's great news, sir.
PR director, this is your time to shine. For we have to put together an exciting PR and marketing program to get the word out right away. It's a major step for Boxer Dunlop and Keys, so we have to capitalize on it.
Have you decided where the agency will be located, Mr. Mills?
I only know it will be on the ground floor, but the engineers will sort it out. I just want you to get to work immediately so we can get the publicity out there.
I'll have something on your desk in the morning, sir. This is really a very exciting development.
And you need to set up a meeting with the advertising agency, and we must get the marketing people involved in our plans as well.
A quick question, Mr. Mills. When will Golden Wealth Bank be informing the public that we have been granted agency status?
What kind of question is that, Wayne? Does it really matter?
It certainly does, Mr. Mills. For an appointing deposit-taking institution has been granted approval to appoint an agent. The appointing deposit-taking institution shall ensure that a notice is issued advising public approval to act. The notice must be in a daily newspaper circulating in Jamaica. on the website of the appointing deposit-taking institution and in a conspicuous position in each place of business of the appointing deposit-taking institution. The notice must contain all the information required by law, including the certified copy of the approval granted to a deposit-taking institution to offer the service through an agent, the certified copy of the agent's appointment, and the list of banking
sorry, you were
services
trying to
offered
reach me?
through that agent. That's how it is under the law.
Yes.
Brought to you today by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Join us Wednesdays at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 at 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
Oh, yes.
For Under the Law.
I'm not surprised. All right, no problem. Okay, yes.
Treat yourself to famous Jamaican jerk dishes at Sweet Pork, chicken served with mouth-watering side orders. Sweet Jerk Joint, open every day. Call 876-906-4854 or come to 78 Knoxville Boulevard in Kingston in a secured environment across from Emancipation Park. All COVID-19 protocols observed. Sweetwood Jerk Joint, the home of Jamaican jerk. The Ministry of Local Government and Community Development will host its public town hall meeting focusing on the major achievements of the ministry and its affiliated agencies this Thursday, July 14. Join Power 106 FM from the White House Community Center in Westmoreland, Thursday, July 14, 6 to 8 p.m. for a live feed from the event. This broadcast is brought to you by the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management and the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. That's a broadcast from the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development's public town hall meeting this Thursday, July 14, 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:04, que la retire en français, les 4:04. 现在TDN le 4:00, well, it's now 5 past. It was 4 past just now. It's now 5 minutes past 4 o'clock. 4:05. 5 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4115. Just to complete the point I was making, that after I listened to the one-down trial where one of them testified that, or one of the witnesses testified that it was felt that the community was too quiet. So the man them decide to just blaze up the thing, so to speak, because the community too quiet, or the place so quiet. So there's that set up some people who my mother would refer to as being haunted, some little haunted people who, as my late mother would say, now have nothing for hurt them, and they decide to hot up the place. Just like that. So there is that element as well. And I didn't finish earlier on the discussion about different parties. It's the same. They have to deal with the same laws, no matter how many times you change government. It's the same laws unless there's a serious effort at changing those laws for the betterment of the people and the country. But they inherit the same laws, the same amount of money in the consolidated funds, etc., etc. When I say same amount, meaning whatever the amount is, whatever it is, they have to make do with it. And so it really boils down when they come to us and they say, vote for me because we are the better managers of the country. It is for the members of the electorate to scrutinize all those who are putting themselves forward and to come to a conclusion whether they are deserving enough of the position. That's really what it boils down to. Same laws for the most part, unless they are changed. Same setup. The structure hasn't changed in a very long, in 60 years, quite frankly. Or if there's any change, not much. So that's really what it is. So people have to weigh the options. People have to weigh the options. Right, let's go to the phone lines. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello? Sorry, somebody got tired of waiting. Sorry about that. Hello? Good afternoon. I'm sorry, we talked them to sleep perhaps. 876-922-4112-5 are the numbers to call. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. So I'm not sure who asked the question. Micah Taylor. Not sure if all I said earlier on helped to answer your question. Micah Taylor says crime is everywhere, so who cares? Utter the naysayers. So that's a follow-up to his or her earlier message. All the best, Micah Taylor. And Natalie Winter says Jamaica is a very interesting place nowadays. No, not just nowadays, Natalie Winter. In fact, that word is an overused word. Interesting. If everything is interesting, then nothing is interesting. So let's try and be more specific. Because to just say Jamaica is a very interesting place nowadays. Find another way to say what is it? Jamaica, be a little more specific. You go to the movies. How was the movie? Interesting. How was dinner? Interesting. How was lunch? Interesting. Surely we can do better than that. Let's be a little more descriptive and deliberate in how we put forward our respective positions. Let's go to HR, who is calling through on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Are you there?
Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Yes, sir. Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I am giving thanks for life. And you?
Giving thanks likewise, man. Thankful.
You sound a little distant, though.
Yes.
Could you help
Yes,
us by adding some meat to the bone, so to speak?
All right. Let me see if I can. All right. I'll that car. So everyone. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me better now, sir?
Better is relative, but go ahead and see if we can tolerate the audio. Go ahead, please. Hello?
Okay, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I was holding on the straight line. Yes, I was on a straight line, but I waited for a long time. I couldn't get through to you.
Sorry about that. Well, happy that you have managed to get through to us now. You want to try calling us back on the studio line?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
Hello?
hey, let me try calling back. I'm not,
yes, do that. Hang up and call back right away. We'll look out for the call.
Yeah, man. All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, sir.
This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, as you know by now, 876-365-3346, 365-3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon again, Mr. Dervan.
Yes, please. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we have a two problem by Sinners that I told informed about one of them before. But the water system that water commission have missed on the road. About 3 leaks on the road. Two in Lowana, one in Lowana, not Lowana, run by the road going to the fall, Wyeth Fall. It is a mess, man. It caused a mess on the road. One there and two in Dry River. Likewise, them pouring on the road, man. And
yes, we did share the pictures and the messages with Andrew Cannon of the National Water Commission. So nothing has changed?
Nothing has changed from that, Mr. Dervan. Nothing
has changed. Dear.
It's running like river on the road, man. And there's a water in life. You can believe it? All right. Secondly, because I don't have a lot of time.
Yes.
Secondly, we have a problem on there from Monday. There's a line that has broken down. A power line.
Mm-hmm.
It is not in the road, but it's on the bank. And what happened? We don't have any current from Monday. And we have called them, we informed them about the problem, and still nothing happened.
Is it possible to send us the exact address or the general area where this has happened? Just send us the information as soon as you're through with this conversation, and we'll forward the information to the JPS.
Yes, I'm going to send it, but I'm just explaining it before.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's by Dry River. You're coming from Magati, like you're going up to Eldersley. So it's all about a mile out of Magati. Okay. Community called Dry River. All right? The lighthouse is a part of the community, not all of the community. It's a part of it. All right? So it's all from Monday. And we have called and made a report, and nothing happened. So we are in darkness from Monday, and today is Wednesday.
No, that's not good. That's not good at all.
It can't be good, sir. Can't be good.
Yeah, it sounds like they're falling down as far as the guaranteed standards are concerned, and you're supposed to get some money for that. So you need to follow up on that. We have to take the break. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Well, you just heard it. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:15. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:15. 现在几点了？4点15分. 15 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? Yes, young people, we know it's summer. Continue to enjoy the summer. And those of you who have been going out to summer school, more power to you. Playing your part in helping to close the learning gap. We hope it's going well. And we trust you had a productive day of learning today, those of you who went out to summer school. And we trust you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Thanks for holding.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
You were saying?
Yes, sir. We were saying that, as I said before, I'm just repeating, but we want to strengthen that we can be able to get the current before the night is come, or the day is over. Because we have things on the fridge, people raise chicken likewise. We can imagine so much chicken might be spoiled by this. And people have to use the current to work.
Yeah, that's not
really
good.
A shame and it's awful, sir. Can't believe that JPS service like this.
Yeah, that's not good. Really.
So we ask that you can send on a message and them from us, sir, please.
Yes, but again, just send the location information, please, and I'll just forward it to the JPS.
All right, we're gonna do it on WhatsApp.
Sure, please do.
All right, thank you in advance.
Take care. Sorry to hear of that situation, though. Really hope the light comes back sooner than later.
Okay, sir. All right.
All right, take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, patriotic Jamaican in New York, says Mr. Malcolm. I also think one of the reasons for the high murder rate is the fact that there's little or no consequence. Murderers in Jamaica, mistaken or not, seem to think that a large portion of the Jamaican population is on their side. They see and hear the daily uproar about their rights. No, let's not trouble people's rights. Yeah, people have rights, and we have to be careful. When things get rough or tough, we want to throw rights out the window. No, 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 no. If we get into that kind of a mode, then nobody will be immune from being thrown to the wolves or the lions or whatever. You get the picture. No, we have to be careful when we start talking as if rights are not important. Yeah, we always say that with rights come responsibility. And those of us who fail to take responsibility will be taken to task one way or another. Let's see. Anyway, every time they're being asked to answer for their crimes, until the people who mean Jamaica any good are able to demonstrate some kind of unity and resolve against these murderers, there won't be any change. That's right. If the people of Jamaica want all of this to stop, all the shootings and the killings and burglaries and so on, if we really want it to stop, it will stop. It can stop. There are some people who take credit for turning it up and turn up the thing and all of that, and hot up the place. Yeah, some of them take credit for that, even if they're not the ones driving it. But it fits in appropriately with their personalities. Yeah, and we still have people who are happy to turn up the thing in terms of their sound systems in their vehicles, with recordings that are telling us how high Maraga fly and what we fit upon the boy, do with the boy them, and who we are going to turn in a dopey and all of these things. And then we wonder, why do we have so much crime in this country? We've been glorifying crime from the days of the movie theaters in Jamaica. We have been fascinated by the guns from those days. We have been fascinated by the weapons. Yeah, we have been fascinated by it, by them. And we want to know what it feels like to hold one of those things called a gun. And it feels powerful for some people because they can bad up some youth and bad up some people and rob some people. That glorification of the gun has been going on for a long time. And we continue to celebrate the gun in this country. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, you sound like Barry G, man.
No, that's not Barry G. You want to hear Barry G? Hey, mother, father, brother, sister, lend me your ears. Oh, what an afternoon with the Kingston City. Hey, crack your radio higher. That's Barry G. Hey, that's not me.
And you know, say you and him all on the same sign, no, Libra.
Yes, what's happening?
Anyway, I have 2 points, you see. I want you to send a message to Andrew Cannon about the pipe that burst along Orange Street in the intersection of Awood Street for several days now. A lot of water is on the road on Orange Street at the intersection of Awood Street downtown. And it collects all the garbage and it runs it down. So I wanted to make...
So you say Haywood Street?
No, at the intersection of...
Yes, man, I heard the word intersection.
Yeah.
Haywood Street and which other street?
Orange Street.
Orange Street, Haywood Street, Orange Street.
Downtown. A lot of water, man. And several days now, you know. Several days now, water wasting down there.
Well, that's pretty. That's not too far from Andrew Cannon's office.
Yeah, so you need to send a message to him Yes. That is a public street, you know, and people do them shopping down there. That's a market district.
I'm surprised. Somebody must know about it.
We do it for garbage. Where people have to buy them food and all that.
Oh boy.
So you need to text him, man, and make him know what's going on, man. Andrew Cannon.
Yes, that's what I'm doing now.
Okay then. Anyway, the next point, you see?
Yes.
I heard you talking about the crime in the country and all that.
What else is new?
Well, you see the crime thing now? Crime, they're everywhere in the world. But the problem with Jamaica is that the crime is extremely too high. And the crime can cut down a little bit in Jamaica if the government take fixing up the infrastructure in the country serious. Take it very serious. Because
tell us some more. Take the fixing up of the infrastructure more serious. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, man. And listen, the way all the infrastructures in Jamaica set up, you see, it encourages criminals to be free to do certain things. You understand?
Come again. Sorry. Come again.
The way all the country fix up, the way all the infrastructures in Jamaica run down and look away, you know? It helps the criminals them to do things and get away. Especially in the ghetto areas and those places. Those places not security friendly. And there's no way for the security officers them to patrol those areas and catch certain criminals and those things. The way the residents where people live in the ghettos in this country, the infrastructure need to do over.
Yeah, that's a valid point that too many of our communities lack the relevant amenities, and as you said, they are run down. So I mean, the very look of the place, the look and feel is enough to cause people to feel threatened and to encourage those who mean the people and the community no good. It encourages them to engage in certain acts as well.
I mean, the infrastructure help the criminals them to hide.
Yes, I am agreeing with you.
And get away.
I'm agreeing with you. It's not conducive to order. And anywhere there is disorder and chaos, then it's a perfect hiding place for those who are up to no good.
But what I find out now, the Prime Minister, him take out the army and make them go in the ghetto area with big gun and those things to fight crime. But do you know that a lot of soldier is high trade man?
Is what?
High skill man, very trade.
Oh yes, they get a lot of training in a lot of skill areas in the JDF. You are correct.
Yeah, man, a lot of soldiers have them trade.
Engineers.
Good trade man. The government need to make them come out with them trade tool and do a lot of work in those areas instead of having them in the area with M16.
But you know, they started that, you know, what was it called? Oh gosh. Was it Lift Up? No, Lift Up Jamaica. I don't know if you remember that campaign. Lift Up Jamaica, where they actually had the soldiers working with members of the community. So the soldiers, let's say from the engineering section of the JDF, and they're working side by side, helping to train.
What year is that?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
So why don't stop it?
I don't know. I'd have to go back into the archives.
Well, I can't me see this government, you know, it makes sure that them come in the area with gun, M16 and SLR, thinking that that can cut down the crime and all that.
Well, what that does is to on the face of it, that's an attempt to stop the bleeding. That's what you call. That's no. Hold on. From the standpoint that if you either blanket the area with soldiers and police, or you strategically position soldiers and police in the area, it should act as some kind of a deterrent. I think that is the thinking, that it would act as some kind of deterrent, and therefore a man who last week or week before, when no police or soldier was in the area, didn't think twice about doing certain things.
Yes, but meanwhile,
meanwhile
they is in the area with the gun, they need a next set of soldiers with tool and material to fix up the areas. Right. You can't have soldier with gun alone.
Well, that
they
is
need soldier in the area with hammer. They need soldier with pliers.
Yeah, your point is made, but that works best in the zone of special operation.
Yeah, but that is not going on.
No. I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to help you.
That's supposed to be, but it's not going on in the zone.
Yes. No,
it's not going on in the zone here.
Well, not in the way you expected to, but there is evidence. You're not alone. No. That's what I'm saying. It's not being done the way you want to see it done. You want the soldiers to be doing the work at the same time, the engineering work, etc., in the community. But the point I'm making is through the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, they are the ones who have been moving all of the zinc fences and building concrete and so on. Yes, man. It has happened in communities. There's evidence. Go to JSIF. Check the JSIF website.
Listen, I'm not talking about a website.
No, man.
On the ground.
I'm telling you. No, but these are pictures from on the ground of the work that has been done.
I don't see no work going on.
Yes. No, man. Don't undermine your position by taking that position because the evidence is there. So you're undermining your position by saying that's not.
Hello. All right. Please tell me.
Yeah. One moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Jamaica Hospital Supplies has medical equipment for health at home.
We have oxygen supplies,
wheelchairs,
digital blood pressure machines,
adult diapers,
Sure Comfort diabetic supplies,
CareSense blood sugar meters,
humidifiers, incentive spirometers,
urinals, bedpans, leg bags,
CPAP supplies, body fat scales and catheters. Jamaica Hospital Supplies for all your home care needs. 66 and a half Halfway Tree Road. Call 929-2850. Visit our website for more information.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years, and that's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. Wednesdays on Power 106 FM.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 5:29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5h moins 29. Tiens, c'est TDN le Wu Dien Cha Ar Shi Jiao Fen. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Yes, sir. So you think you're the only one who goes through so-called communities where this work is supposed to be done?
All right. Look, you say you have evidence that fix up a go on in the inner cities. Can you tell me one in the
I didn't say in the inner cities. I referred to the zones of special operation.
Yeah, tell me one
The
area
zones
where
of
you
special
fix up
operation.
that one.
I'm not going to engage in an argument with you on this because I've been on the ground with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. I know what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to waste any more time on this. Because you don't have to accept what. Don't take my word for it. Go. No. I'm saying don't take my word for it. Go and check it out yourself. Forget me. Leave me out of it.
Leave you out of it.
Yes.
They bus park them. Even the one downtown, which part the country bus them park up. Like the course of them going to different parish. That section, that place want a real fix up. You know?
Yes.
They need to fix up that place, man. You know, people is going to take bus to go to the rural parishes.
Oh, that's the one down the road from Coronation Market?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I notice they have paved the road for what it's worth. The roadway in that area.
Fix up that transportation center.
Well, you're
fix up some nice bathroom in there, fix up some nice shelter.
Yes.
You know, fix up some nice chair that people can use that when they wait on them bus, they can sit down and wait for the bus. I went to Ocho House the other day and I was at the transport center and the rain was falling and there was no way to shelter there.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not
So why the
good.
government don't use the army to fix up those places instead of having the army out there with guns, big M16 and FLR?
Well, as I said, they've done it before. I'm not sure why they stopped or what stopped it, but when they had the Lift Up Jamaica program, I saw that happening.
You know the Simon Bolivar Center downtown?
Simon Bolivar, yes.
The building.
Next door to Ward Theatre.
Is the army fix up that place, you know?
I didn't realize that.
I didn't do that. Listen, they don't turn every day. I just saw them do it. And the building looks so good.
Yes.
So why they don't use the army to fix up about the War Theatre and paint it?
Well, the best person to ask is the head of the army.
No, but the head of the army is the Prime Minister.
Well, the head of the army will then refer you to the Chief of Defense, the Minister of Defense.
Young boy, them, they go here with gun in the inner cities and the cities them with big gun. But in not making them use of them trade and giving them tools to come out here and fix up the place, fix up the infrastructure.
Yeah.
That the criminal them don't really have nowhere to hide. When the infrastructure them fix up and the place is security friendly, the criminal them will have it very hard.
I know what you're talking about because I drove through the hills of St. James. And I had to say to my colleague, but this is a death trap. This is the way the place is, because obviously it wasn't a structured place. It's an informal settlement, and the way the place is set up, it is a death trap. For those who would wish to patrol that area. So I know what you're talking about. The place, it's not a structured community. It's an informal community, and that makes policing even harder.
Yes, you're right, man. I passed down that Maple Cemetery the other day, man. The place one push out, man.
Yeah, that is a perennial problem.
And I passed this Sierra place. So when they call a place again, TG, Valley Garden, and the building them want to paint. The building them look, the building them is not, them want to paint, man. It's what the MP down there.
You don't know? You don't know?
Who again? Desmond?
That's right.
So why him not get the people them some paint that that them can paint the building them, that the building can look bright and nice. Eh? This man, the government need to make the army do them trade work in the country and fix up the infrastructure them.
All right. Your position is quite clear. I'm getting...
Give them the M16 alone.
Yes.
To go out there. You know, because as a soldier...
Yes. Yeah, man. I get your point. Sorry, but...
I see the security force them is standing up in areas which part dirty water is and something there, you know.
Yeah, your point is made. Your point is made. There's a line of people waiting to get on. Because you've been on a while now, eh?
Yeah, cool.
All right. I sent it. So he responded immediately. What he said, let me tell you what he's saying. He's asking any idea as to the source, as to where exactly is the water coming from.
Well, you need to send him, send the people down here and come and find out.
All right. All right. Mr. Cannon is listening. So, yeah, he would have heard that. Yeah. All right. Let's leave it there for now. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
I'm good.
Good.
First, let me address Mr. Kennan's response. I think that was so weak. If water is running from somewhere, it's easy to identify the footwear.
Well, I sent him the information that it's Haywood Street and Orange Street intersection.
Yeah, and he's asking, he wants the person to be more precise, and he wants to know how much inch from Haywood Street or how much inch from Orange Street.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to a response.
Mm.
What brought him to that thought?
I don't know, but...
Come on, man, that's ridiculous to answer somebody. Right? After the description was apt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And water flowing. That's like to your fire there. You go ask him where the building is burning. You can't hide a fire.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't hide a spring. And somebody that's paved. That's the Jamaica still.
Yeah, indeed.
When you talk about my word, like perusing the politician, interrogating them. I think that was the word you used, but it meant that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You see, if the response is anything near the people are not leading us, or you want the locals to be more recent.
Come again. If
the response we just got from Mr. Kennan.
Okay. I hear you. I get your point.
Let's say that again to masses who is not even a degree that he is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're blessing in Jamaica. We've been polarized for a long time. It's not like that people prepared to see a truth that's not on his side.
No, man, we have been polarized. There's no doubt about that.
Because if they accept my point of view of reasoning, the personality always sometimes to trump the reasoning.
And it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
No, because you see, we're emotional now.
True.
And we become creatures of stature.
Mm-hmm.
So we're the boss and camp.
Yeah.
All right. You see with the crime thing in Jamaica now and the gang thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know why most focus more studies not done in terms of solving this problem?
Why?
Why the gang has no political ambition.
Oh.
The power not being don't feel threatened.
I see what you mean.
Anytime you hear a gang has a rise up and have political ambition, it's going to be a different ball field. Because actually, they'll get backing from the people,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because look now, there's certain things that's so wanting.
Mm-hmm.
How could you have so much water wasting? And to attack the problem is not immediate. And you talk, and then today you bet you lock off about 10 pipes.
Yes, chances are.
What's the reasoning?
Yeah.
And just like you talk about when the political party change office and the resources are left, it's evil. Sometimes, the resource is in the thinking because his ideas run well,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that can be a resource, and that's the idea where we need to dig forward. Because you know something, they're always employing the same way that thinking that got us here to get us out of here. Okay, that
Which is ridiculous.
Come on, man.
Yes.
So where can we see the commonality along? All along, we just get emotional when we hear 10 murder or 5 murder, and then the guy is gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real concentrated effort.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the commissioner of police saying today they've got to change their plan. What took him so long to realize that?
Not the police commissioner, the minister. I think that's...
No, the police commissioner was speaking at a police thing with involving some people from youth. I heard him.
Oh, I thought it was the piece I read on the program earlier this afternoon.
Yes.
From the minister.
He was distinct. He was saying he was speaking for the Americans. He was speaking locally.
Mm-hmm.
But what took him so long to say that? Because, like I learned, a lawyer said the other day, look now, when he had a case where the police was found, his client, the police tried to planted a weapon on his client. Mm-hmm. The guy got away, and the police was still a police.
Oh, but there's supposed to be certain sanctions or actions.
Yes.
And you're saying nothing was done? That's it? The police just continue?
The police was still a police, so apparently nothing was done.
Oh, dear.
And I heard him on the radio saying that.
But that sounds like something that would I would imagine, why wouldn't, well, I guess his lawyer, it doesn't, once he takes care of his client, that's it. But the greater, yeah, that's the point I'm going on to make, that the greater, apart from the dealing with the client, certainly that lawyer could take it a step further in terms of
but look now,
yes.
Nobody's fighting for the greater good.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
It's down to the personality now.
Yeah, know? True.
It's a clique.
True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But how are we going to get out of this?
That is like, what's a game we used to play? Bull in a pen can't come out. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Tonight's Healthcare Workers Appreciation Month. Come make we salute our healthcare workers who fought for us during the COVID-19 pandemic. You are our heroes. Healthcare workers, thank you for your commitment, service, and sacrifice. Enough respect. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Brothers and sisters, enjoy.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在几点了？5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Thanks for holding. Yes, so it's, how do we get out of this? Well, until more of us as Jamaicans begin to take a more clinical approach, a more intense interrogation of those who hold positions of leadership in this country.
But look, you know that can be ordered and motivated from the top. I should be.
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example. You got some people in position.
Yes.
And I think their position is to keep people weak,
Yes, there's that too.
They want to be looked at as being some genius.
Yeah.
All right? I'll give you a perfect example. I listened to a talk show host the other day. And he was trying to compare Jamaica with Sri Lanka in terms of the position they're in.
Compare?
No, yeah, but let me tell you why.
Uh-huh.
Because the stimulus that this finance minister allocated is 1/6 of 1% of the GDP. And the opposition was asking for 2%.
40 billion.
Yes.
Mm.
Right? They don't know that one of the main reasons for Sri Lanka collapsing, you see? It's because you got within the Prime Minister and the President the other day. You have two other brothers,
Yes, it's the dynasty that people were tired of.
Well, the two other brothers were like the foreign minister. They made the deal for investment.
Yeah.
And they are calling some company a tax break of between 8 to 12% of GDP. That's far different from the 2% we're asking.
Yeah.
And we're in a better place. And just like the previous caller just alluded to the fix in the infrastructure. What could that do to some soft loan to the agricultural sector?
Yeah.
What could that do to really painting Tivoli Garden? At least a soldier could watch them doing it.
Yes. Yeah, there are always, I'm not a fan of cliches, but there's a cliche that speaks about the low-hanging fruit. There are things that we can do and that should be done. But for whatever reason, people either see it as being insignificant or not worthy of their time and energy. Because the idea, some people are into big ideas. They want a big idea, big project, that kind of an outlook. And where they're not seeing that, they might get the correspondence suggesting or proposing that certain things, like you suggest, the painting, the this, the that, but they don't make the connection with people in a community being a part of the solution in terms of planting, for example, backyard gardening, etc. In terms of fixing up the community. If the people, oops, we lost that call. Sorry about that. If the people themselves are intimately involved in the transformation of their communities, then chances are those communities are likely to have a more sustainable future. That's one perspective. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Oliver Masters says that is a full truth that the government had stated that a while back of the youths being trained by the uniformed staff, but not much was ever heard of since then. No, that was done. If you're talking about training to build or repair structures, infrastructure, etc., there was, as we said, the Lift Up Jamaica program where the soldiers were involved. And I think, was JSIF involved at that time too? Maybe. But JSIF itself is involved in programs, community development programs, where the people in the community themselves, part of the agreement is that the people in the community themselves will participate, will be involved in the work that is happening in the community as well, even as they are being trained in some instances. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, man, thanks for the reminder.
Dry River look like a peace today because from several weeks going past last month, I'm broken pipe there.
So before you go on, though, Rascava, we should tell you your audio is coming in a bit muffled or fuzzy.
Let me see if I can.
Oh, you called on different lines. All right, well, if this is the best that we have, well, let's...
Dry River.
Yeah.
The pump station, they have a couple chains away from the foot of Dry River Hill. And from weeks last month, the water run at a waste that go up. They are reported it to go down, they go report it to them and nothing has been done. So yeah, when it happen, you know, I want transform, I look up now the top section of a Dry River, you know. The big explosion.
Oh.
But water alive, and the water now climb the hill, you know. It never ever go up that hill. And them must have a pump problem. Get a bigger pump that can push the water up the hill. Then you go there at morning time and people down there like Jones come at the foot of the hill where water tap a one standpipe after you have full sitting and catch water to carry out. And the pumping station just down the road down there, so a couple of pins down. So I don't know if you can remind them of it being there and why it is not done. And when them get a pump and if that pump broke down, nobody now get no water till the pump repair our. The country can afford a standard pump. That when that one break down and take out to fix the other one chip in.
That would be the ideal situation, yes.
Right, but you have to wait until sometime overseas and then can go to part to go fix the pump and you can't get no water. Until that they fix.
Yeah, maintenance is definitely not our strong point.
No, strong. No matter how people talk and block road and they're sitting there as a clear and then tell us them are going to fix it, all of that I see a problem. You need to have a standby pump. Water is an essential part of people's existence.
True. Always you're supposed to have a backup. You should. Has to be a backup system.
Yeah, because when one chip out the other one, while it has to the other one, I work with and that's why we will like chop and broke down. And it makes the Jamaica stink because they don't have no maintenance the problem solver to solve this problem and repair these truck and all of spare parts. And I don't be sitting a car all them problem, you know. I was passing at a place today, one big hall, over thousands of people. But me see the whole two side of the road can line up, join up. When we go for the crossroads, the CMT join up, line up, them say I want pass over there. But me not to go at the same location and go do some business. So me say, when we go over there, I want to tell me, say, well, I want pass, I did I have to pay $5,000 to register before you can get to go in the hall. So me say,
what is in the hall? Gold?
None of that me asking if a healing comes to get people better. So he said, she don't know. So me said, me I go over there. So I'm in the business. Me want to know. But when we go, me see one man up at the platform. He don't have no pulpit. I'm going to see him no Bible. So me say, no people can pass that place then. But me go on the outside, they are looking home and tell me, they don't want nobody on the land. So but the pastor knows me, you know. But the pastor just like one hot boy. He sneak as a bling in our life. And his shirt a bling and glisten. And in pants have some stripe like sweatsuit stripe pants. And I said then, whenever pastor I really lecture and come to give. So but the people them say pastor church a kid. So make me go in gate go a few months say, why if me can't go in? He said, yes, you have to go register and buy one bottle of olive oil. You go in.
Okay.
So because what the purpose of this olive oil? You can't take your rub on your skin. But no, the point is, I think that pastor comes from Nigeria. In Lagos, you have the biggest white statue of Jesus in the world. He over 40 tons into a community that dominantly black people. So they are that kind of religious nation they become. So that part I no doubt here about Jamaica having more churches per square mile. In come here now and I sell olive oil. Because the lady can have a bottle of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Them tell that they know that the olive oil them matter. They want them to sell now after you pay so much registration fee to go and they go sit down and listen to him say. And the man said you should not love until you're 70. You must use wisdom instead. You should only love at age 70. And if you are married, you must put your wife's name on the will until she's 60, going up to 70. That means when she walk, she just a crumble along. Because if you put her name on it when she's younger and sexier, and she go around, everybody are going to see her. And after you put her name on the will, then you take her upon you and you lose her and you can't take her back on you.
Rascab, I think you should save some of that for dear pastor. We're out of time. Thank you. All right, take care. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Wednesday, the 13th of July, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5, live from the White House Community Center in Westmoreland for another in the series of town hall meetings organized to highlight the readiness for the hurricane season, among other matters having to do with local government and related matters. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106
Bye.
FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.